Imagine yourself at a funeral, and you meet the man of your dreams. But, just like a wisp of smoke, he disappears. What would you do next? Intriguing, isn't it? This is the premise of a psychological riddle that is often used to scrutinize the underbelly of our decision-making processes. A woman, while at her mother's funeral, meets a man she doesn't know. This man, in her eyes, is perfect, the embodiment of her dream partner. However, she fails to acquire his name or contact details, and after the funeral he remains a mystery, an elusive shadow she can't trace. Days pass, and she finds herself committing a heinous act. She murders her own sister. The question that lingers is, why would she do such a thing? If your mind ventured towards the idea that she killed her sister in hopes that the man would appear at another funeral, then you might want to step back and ponder. This line of thinking, while it seems logical to some, is actually indicative of psychopathic tendencies. Psychopathy, a personality disorder characterized primarily by a lack of empathy and remorse, manipulative behavior, and egotistical traits, often leads individuals to make decisions that serve their immediate gratification, without considering the emotional repercussions on others. In this case, the woman's decision to commit murder in hopes of seeing the man again is a stark reflection of this lack of empathy and a heightened sense of self-interest. Now, it's important to remember that this riddle, like any psychological tool, is not a definitive diagnosis. It's merely a thought experiment, a window into the intricate labyrinth of our minds. It's fascinating how our brains work, how we process information, and how we arrive at certain conclusions. Quite chilling, isn't it? The line of thought that leads to such a grim conclusion may be a sign of psychopathic tendencies. Our minds, in their complexity, are capable of both beautiful dreams and chilling nightmares. So, take a moment to reflect. What does your answer to this riddle reveal about you? Now picture yourself on a footbridge with a runaway trolley below. You have the power to save 5 lives at the cost of 1. What do you choose? A classic philosophical conundrum that's been tossed around for decades, the trolley problem presents a stark choice. On the one hand, you have a runaway trolley barreling down the tracks, ready to smash into 5 unsuspecting people. On the other hand, you're standing next to a large stranger whose body, if pushed onto the tracks, would halt the trolley, saving those 5 lives, but at the cost of his own. The dilemma here is not just about choosing who lives and who dies, but about the moral and ethical implications of such a decision. It's about weighing the value of one life against the value of many. If you decided to push the stranger, you might argue that you are doing it for the greater good, saving more lives. But here's the twist. Making such a cold, utilitarian calculation could potentially indicate psychopathic tendencies. Why? Well, it's because making that choice involves a certain detachment, a willingness to commit an act of violence for a perceived benefit. It's a rationalization that places the value of numbers over the sanctity of an individual life. A tough call, isn't it? Yet the willingness to take a life for the greater good can be a sign of psychopathy. Let's move to a different scenario. You're enjoying a quiet dinner in your apartment when you suddenly become a witness to a murder in the building across the street. As the victim falls, the murderer's eyes meet yours. Then, something chilling happens. The murderer starts moving his finger up and down. What do you think this means? The scene is tense. Your heart is racing. You're a mere spectator, yet you've been thrust into the middle of a crime scene. But here's the real brain teaser. What is the murderer doing with his finger? Why is he moving it up and down? Any guesses? Well, a psychopath might immediately understand what's happening. They might interpret that the murderer is counting the floors and windows of the building across from him, trying to locate you, the witness. This interpretation reveals a cold, calculating mind that quickly grasps the intentions behind a threatening gesture. Quite a twist, isn't it? The ability to quickly interpret such a chilling signal could be a sign of psychopathic tendencies. But remember, this is just a hypothetical scenario, and real-life psychopathy is a complex condition that goes far beyond the ability to solve a riddle. Psychology is a potent tool in the quest to decode the enigma of the human mind, and occasionally the insights it provides can be somewhat disconcerting. We've delved into 3 fascinating conundrums: the unseen stranger, the trolley dilemma, and now, the apartment riddle, which illuminate the convoluted facets of human behavior. Bear in mind these riddles cannot conclusively psychopathy. This condition is intricate and necessitates expert. If you found these riddles stimulating, then hit the like button and subscribe to Psych Spike for more in-depth explorations of the human mind. Remember, comprehension is the inaugural step to empathy.